Today, I posted a reel and I got a follower commenting on it. And she basically said that she's literally in the same position with a sad smiley. And I kind of want to dig a little bit deeper on this because if you feel that way, if you're working on projects like renovating your home or something else, or let it be business related offers that you're about to create, and all of a sudden you stop because you lose completely the interest and you start a complete new offer. I absolutely know 1000% how this feels. I have done it and I'm still doing it. But here's the problem. The reason why a lot of multi-passionate entrepreneurs, ADHDers, don't see the success the way they should is because they're in a loop of creation. They are constantly coming up with new projects, especially when it comes to offer creation, and they find it hard to finish something. They're planning it, then they do the research overload, and then they start, maybe, if even, creating the product, and then the product, at least this is how it goes in my kind of world. I plan it, I research, I really get over passionate. Then I start creating those products, like literally all of those products, but I either don't finish them or I finish them but don't publish them. Now, there are obviously multiple reasons on why you might not publish your offers, your projects, or whatever you're working on. One reason might be that you truly have ADHD. It's a common trait of ADHD that you get bored easily. So if you consider yourself as a multi-passionate, maybe you just get checked. Maybe you have ADHD. For me, in my case, it really helped me a lot. I called myself multi-passionate way earlier, way before I even knew I had ADHD. In fact, I thought ADHD is something that people need attention. I had no idea that people lack attention. So I had a total misconception about ADHD. And I think a lot of people actually have that when it comes to ADHD. And it helped me a lot. It helped me a lot to grow my business, to get to know me on a totally different and more intense level. And if you are struggling with this thing and you're always in the loop of creation but never launching and you don't see the damn coin, you have to change something, honestly, because this can ruin your entire existence if you are not careful. I know it sounds harsh, but it's the truth. You know, I'm all about celebrating the multi-passionates. I'm all about embracing your multitude and being unapologetic about this, but there are limits and we have to set boundaries for ourselves, especially if we catch ourselves just in this overcreation loop, because how are you making money if there's no offer? I do feel like I have to spread a little bit more awareness on being more intentional of how and where we invest our time in, because it's easier said than done, and I know that, and there are so many strategies you can use, and for every ADHD or multi-passionate, there are so many different things that could work because we are all different. Every ADHD is different. Just because something is working for me doesn't necessarily mean it works for you. It's because I have a certain ADHD trait doesn't mean that you don't have ADHD just because you're not seeing or you don't relate to this, right? But I do feel like you do have to get to know yourself more than anyone ever could. You have to be your biggest cheerleader and you really have to discover your true self, because if you're not intentionally spending time with yourself and reflecting on who you really are, it will be really hard for you to upgrade the life you're in. And especially if you have ADHD, this is something that you truly need to pay more attention to. So here's something I do when I feel stuck and I'm like, hold on a second, I don't feel like I want to work on this project anymore. I want to start something new. There's this shiny new and it's really interesting to me. So I do have a certain project planner management system that helps me with that, but not only that, there's something else I do in order to motivate myself, because even if I have a project manager, regardless if you have a project manager or the cutest notebook, it doesn't work if there's something not in place, which is the excitement. And the excitement of when starting a project, it starts like down there, it goes up, and then as if we're falling from a cliff. It's pretty intense. And this is also how it feels. It's like all of a sudden there's no interest anymore. It's not like a process of weeks that we are not interested anymore. It can literally happen from day to day, or in the middle of the day, all of a sudden you're like, hold on a second. I'm not interested in this anymore. Is this actually the right way for me to do? And you question your entire existence, your entire business. And that leads to this loop issue that you see yourself just creating stuff and that the world never sees, or even if they see it, you can't hold on to it and keep on, marketing it. So what I do when I feel this way because, let's face it, it's nothing that we can heal. This is a trait of ADHD. We are interested, we get hyper passionate, hyper focused. We can spend hours in this for this project, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's gone. It's nothing that you can, as I said, heal. It's nothing that would go away. Neither with any strategies of planning systems or any medicine. The only way on how you can get out there is you need a certain strategy that gets back this excitement level. You need to get back up in order for you to keep pushing. So here are two things I noticed that work for me. Again, it mustn't work for you, but I do want to share because it might help you. So number one is I step back. I noticed that if I would just leave the project literally in the corner, and I would step back from this project, for instance, creating an online course or upgrading my one-on-one offer, I would leave it in the corner. I wouldn't touch it because I got hyper-focused about this. I have like the million ideas I want to add. I go into my Notion and, plan all these things out and use my project planner, and super exciting, but all of a sudden it isn't anymore. And so I just leave it as it is. I go and work on something else. We have a lot of things to do in our business. Mostly I then focus on marketing or something else. This is also, by the way, what I've noticed. If I'm in my creation mode, I unfortunately, most of the time, completely ignore marketing, which is also obviously not good. We need the balance, which is, again, as a multi-passionate, as an ADHD entrepreneur, super hard to handle. So I would leave it. I would go into marketing. I would whatever do in marketing, and then I would come back and I would feel excited again. It feels like a fresh new project again. And this is how I can continue from where I was. And sometimes it takes a day. And sometimes I even notice it takes a week, and that's fine. It also not is always the ADHD thing. Sometimes it's also our hormones. If you're a female, if you have ADHD, you have two more things to care for than a neuronormal male person. There's just more that we have to care for when we make decisions. And, leaving an offer in the corner, it is a big decision. You make a decision because what is happening if you don't launch this offer? But what could happen if you would launch this offer? And thinking about this, you probably already come up with this answer, which is there won't be any money. Obviously. I mean, how should your business grow if there's no offer? Or you don't upgrade your offer? Because sometimes we don't even create a new offer. Maybe it's just upgrading an offer, but we're not finishing it or, whatever. And then the second thing that helps me a lot in the sense of falling in love with my project again is opening YouTube, as simple as it sounds, and getting a book and a podcast about this topic. So let me give you an example. Let's say you want to create an online course, and in the middle of happening, you did the research, you planned the whole thing, everything is outlined, everything is perfect, and then you started already creating some things about the online course. Now, in the middle of the process or after finishing it, you lost your interest because our attention span is as big as from a fly. It is super short, right? So you lost the love or the passion in that moment, but you had a reason on why you did that. And so what I do is very intentional. I know that I had a reason doing this, but my brain for some reason can't, get around of feeling not passionate about this project anymore. And so what I would do is I would open YouTube and I would type in creating an online course, making money with an online course, how to create an online course. And I would do that for YouTube, a podcast, and I would also get a book. And regardless if I would be in the shower or if I would work on something or I would create whatever, Instagram carousels, whatever it is, I would over-consume how other people enjoy the process of creating an online course and what it did for their business. So this is how much money I made with selling online courses, for instance. And it would motivate me. It's like, oh yes, what I am currently working on is something I could literally do. I could create X, Y, and Z life for me and for my family. So let me keep pushing. And I would get maybe after the third video, maybe after the 50th video, I would get my passion back and I would go back and I would work again on that project. And it sounds weird, but again, everyone needs their own strategies. But for me, I know I love learning, and I think for someone who loves learning, this is a beautiful way of getting passionate about this again. I would just over-consume to go back and to create again. So normally we say, obviously, you want to become a creator, not a consumer. I am originally a creator. I know a lot of multi-passionates also have a lot of this task paralysis. That means they find it hard to even start. I know that a lot of you guys have this issue, but also a lot of people, they start and then they finish in the middle of the process. And so if you are a learner like me, there's this 16 personalities. I just did the test again yesterday evening at 3 a.m. It's weird. I felt like I had to retake it because I know myself so much better. And before, I remember I was one of the green, I think a mediator. And now I'm the logics, the person that is, I think is the second one or something, in violet, and it makes so much more sense. But back then I had not so much an idea of who I was. I did, but not as much as I do today. Regardless, I'm a learner, and for me, it is somewhat of a reward. I sit down, I learn about what I'm about to do, although I already know everything I need in order to start. It's not about the learning process, but it's about seeing other people do what I want to do. And seeing the passion and the results helps me to get back on track. So I highly want to encourage you, find your own strategies of what could work for you in order to get back to your projects. And I always tell my clients, you can work on multiple projects at a time. That's fine. Business is so versatile. We are playing so many roles, from creative director to social media manager to bookkeeper, to whatever. We have a lot of roles where we can go into, and I would highly encourage you, if you feel this the next time, then please take a step back, go and jump into one of your other roles of your business and revisit your project the next time. And maybe you would turn on a podcast while you shower, cook, or do something else exactly around the topic that you're about to do, or you're actually just left behind, in order to get back on this project as soon as possible. And so if we have never met before, hi, my name is Adriana-Morena, and I'm building my own digital magazine. So if you want to see more behind the scenes, and you want to get on the waitlist to get your hands on the first issue, then make sure to become an ADMORI Insider. This is a hub where I share free resources and more behind the scenes and raw thoughts of me building my own digital magazine. And if you want to be a part of this journey, make sure to subscribe, to follow, and you can also join me on Instagram. This is where I show up on my Instagram stories almost every day and share even more behind the scenes. This is going to be an online magazine for multi-passionate entrepreneurs and ADHDers who want to build a profitable but fulfilling personal brand. See you inside.